Listen, man. Everybody know Keith Thurman is just talking. You gotta understand. Keith Thurman was the same guy that said that I'm not a real welterweight. Keith Thurman is the same guy that said I haven't really proven myself at welterweight. Keith Thurman is the same guy that expressed himself of, not being interested in fighting Terence Crawford. So now, all of a sudden, out of the blue, he's fiending to fight Terence Crawford. Okay. See, the thing is, when you're not relevant, you gotta, take shots at the guys that's relevant. Now all of a sudden you out there naked in the streets. Now you want to fight everybody. Come on, man. We don't believe you, Keith.
No interest in the Crawford.
This is the fight that I've been wanting with Keith Thurman for the longest. So he's been making excuses. Said that I haven't proven myself. I ain't win a world title. Said he's gonna bust my bubble. So I'm waiting to find out what he's gonna do.
Porter fought you, kid. Porter fought you, and then instantly announced his retirement, bro. Thurman versus that Spence, same scenario, bro. How do you get out of the 6th round? That as I get older, y'all gonna say, is he still in his prime? Do what you want with your career. You ain't ever gonna fight me, that's fine. Spence never really wanted it. You don't ever really want it. That's fine, man.
Keith one-time Thurman is pulling out all the stops. Keith Thurman, like I said before, he wants to say that Errol Spence is washed up. Some people, including myself, think he's washed up. When is the last time Keith Thurman has had a knockout? And how many injuries has he had, especially on that right hand? His last stoppage came in 2015. In the last 6 years, Keith Thurman has had 4 fights. Why would anybody think you're still in your prime? And his last fight was against Mario Barrios, who was coming up for 140, and he couldn't knock him out. Meanwhile, Gervonta Tate Davis stopped Mario Barrios. Then on top of that, he's going to say that Spence and Terence Crawford has never wanted to fight him, aka DuckTales. But in reality is, Errol Spence and Terence Crawford wanted to fight him, and Keith Thurman was on his high horse at the time. He didn't want them to mess his money up. See, Keith Thurman has always wanted the big fights, regardless who it is. It's not about legacy with Keith Thurman. It's about money. He talks about fighters not being like Sugar Ray Leonard and Roberto Duran, but really, that is him. He's never been a fighter like a Sugar Ray and Roberto Duran because he's always chasing the cheese. I give Spence credit for taking the fight, because if Keith Thurman was in Errol Spence's position, he would not have taken that fight. But like Terence Crawford says, Keith Thurman's out here naked now. He has no titles. He has no big fights to go to. Now he's asking for a lifeline from Terence Crawford. Let's be real. Since Keith want to be real, let's be real. Keith cannot beat Terence Crawford. He's weak to the body and he got fragile hands. Keith Thurman hasn't been one time since 2017. He has no chance of beating Crawford. This is a cash-out fight because that Manny Pacquiao money is probably diminished. And at this point, Keith Thurman will say anything to get under Terence Crawford's skin. And now he's reaching at the bottom of the barrel, saying that Terence Crawford and Errol Spence ducked him, even though we have receipts. Even if this fight took place, Terence Crawford would not get credit for this. Even though people are calling for this fight, if Terence Crawford beats Keith Thurman, what are they going to say? Well, this is not the Keith Thurman of 2017. Keith Thurman was washed up. They wouldn't give Bud credit for that. But you cannot tell Keith Thurman that, because Keith Thurman think he's better than Crawford. He actually think he would have knocked out Spence in 6 rounds. And on the other side of the mouth, he will say, well, Terence Crawford and Keith Thurman are a different fight. Well, Keith Thurman and Errol Spence is a different fight too. He will not have the same advantages that Terence Crawford had going to the fight. He can't switch stances. His reach is no longer to Spence, and he's not a southpaw. Not to mention, Thurman is soft to the body, which is Spence's bread and butter. I have Spence stopping Thurman. Anyway, leave your thoughts and comments below. Jay Beezy, I'm gone.